Dear Valve, can you please give us back our bots in competitive? Come on, guys. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up guys, it's Turbo here and welcome back to a brand new video. And honestly, like I said before, Valve needs to add bots back to matchmaking. Here's why. So it was 6 months ago that Valve made the decision to straight up remove all bots from competitive and wingman. When they first did it, everyone pretty much thought it was a bad idea. But now that some time has passed, has it really held up? No, of course not. Alright, let's get into the first reason. It can ruin the entire gameplay experience for a team, even if one player leaves. Let's be real here. Whenever you're on the T or CT side, it makes it unreasonably more difficult to win the match. The one advantage the team with less players has is slightly more money every round, but that really doesn't make up for the fact that they have one less person who can get frags, get some intel, or even support the team with utility. Clearly, CT is the side that is affected the most because their goal is to play defense. With one less player, they have to make some kind of compromise that makes their defense way weaker. They always have to leave at least one site vulnerable, or mid. Always leaving one site vulnerable loses so many rounds overall. The best example I can think of is Dust 2. Like normally you'd want to play 2 players on A, 2 players on B, and then 1 player mid watching it. And occasionally, taking 1 player from B and putting them on A, but preparing for a retake. With a one-man advantage, you either have to sacrifice defense on either site, or straight up just give up mid. And if that happens, the Ts can just go wherever they want. And on T side, it still makes it harder too, of course. One less player to watch the flank or lurk for info. You can still rush a site as a team and have a pretty good chance to win, as long as you win your gunfights. But to have a decent chance to win, you need a player that is just way better than everyone else. So basically simple. So yeah, being in a 4v5 is a huge disadvantage, so why did they do it? So knowing Valve, nobody knows definitively, but people have speculated that it's to reduce people from kicking underperforming teammates, just so they can take over the bot and dominate. Obviously, the bots can be abused to give the best player on the team like a second life pretty much every single round. A solution I have is it could be random instead of just being first come first serve. Then that way, everybody has a second life, and it can't be abused to give one team an advantage. One potential theory I have is maybe they remove the bots while they completely revamp them to be more useful. Basically bots that are actually good. So when they eventually bring them back, it'll be a big deal. I mean, personally, I think that would be really cool, but probably not. It probably won't happen. Obviously, toxic players who kick teammates who are genuinely trying are just overall pretty awful people. Disincentivizing them from doing it does have its perks, of course, but this was the wrong way to achieve that. Personally, whenever I play matchmaking now, I dread a teammate leaving. Or even if I disconnect for a few rounds because of a crash or whatever, it makes it so much harder for the team to win. And if you do return, you lost a couple rounds more than likely, and your team's at a massive disadvantage. Alright, so let's get into the pros and cons. So on the positive side, the team with one less player gets extra money. But on the flip side, to counter that argument, they also have one less player who can make an impact on the round. Like, the better weapons barely compensate. Another pro is toxic players are less likely to, kick the bottom fragger from the game. But even if a player does get kicked, it hurts the team even more than having a bottom fragger who can literally run around and get some crucial information that can help win rounds. And the last pro I can really think of is if one player leaves on each side, it ends up being a 4v4, which goes back to being fair again. But then again, if you're on the CT side, not really. Like, losing a player makes it harder to hold every important angle and prepare for a site rush, so you're kind of screwed. Back in the day, in those situations, you were left with a bot. And honestly, bots were never that useful. They had their moments, but for the most part, the point was to take over the bots and get another chance to win the round. And honestly, it added quite a fun dynamic to the game. Even if a player leaves, you still have a pretty good chance to win. It's still pretty fair. And of course, you always need to have the guy who spams the bot commands, telling it to stay in spawn. And if it doesn't, it literally just rushes down mid and gets opt every time. It's just, oh man. Honestly, the bots made the game more fun. I mean, sure, it wasn't this incredible experience, but it's part of Counter-Strike, and personally, I have a lot of great memories from having bots in the game, and I feel like the game is better with them. Come on, Valve, please add bots back to the game. I don't care if they're useless and they suck. It keeps the game a 5v5, and it makes the game so much more fun for both teams. The pros vastly outweigh the cons. But anyways, if you guys agree, drop a like and leave a comment letting me know your thoughts. I do read all the comments and I'll give some of you guys some hearts. But overall, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic and safe rest of your day. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's Turbo, and I'm out. Peace.